Welcome back to another edition of SNG. I think this is episode 66. I'm kind of guessing. But we're going to have a great week this week, a real diverse week again, working on the Nautilus, working on Planet of the Apes, working on ear molds, all kinds of cool stuff. As always here at SNG, we have a great deal of fun and a great deal of diversity of all kinds of creative stuff. And of course, yes, there's the wonderful model of the USS Enterprise created for the Museum of Science Fiction. If you don't know what the Museum of Science Fiction is all about, it will be in Washington, D.C. They're going to have a big convention coming up called the Velocity event in, it's in July. So you can go to the website and learn more about that. It's going to be a big conference for the museum with cosplay and exhibits and contests and all kinds of cool stuff. And this model will be there. Yes, it will, with a few signatures on it from notable people that were involved in Star Trek. So that is going to be a very exciting thing. So let's get on with the week. Okay, we're back. It's time to move that. Okay, we're back. We're on my tilt-a-rotor camera. To set it on something I don't tripod. It is Monday, and we are back at SNG. And I thought you'd get a kick out of seeing how this comes off. It's really hard, and it takes a long time to do. But before I do it, I'm going to move some parts that aren't glued down. Just like that. And then remove this out. Really hard thing to do. And you lift up like this, and out it comes. How's that for speed and breaking things? Anyway, what we're going to do now is wax up a lot of this back in here and on here. And we're going to add some micro balloons and 30-minute epoxy to get rid of those gaps and let that sit for a while. Fun, fun, fun. Okay, this model is entirely gapped now. Of course, I have to sand it, but everything's been gapped through all the way into here, and I have to sand it clean. But this thing opens and closes and fits together so snugly. You couldn't ask for better. These are moving, so I got to epoxy these down in. I'll do that tomorrow. But this is really, all this stuff has to be sanded and everything. But this thing really, really is solid now. It does not rock at all. You can pick up the whole model. See, and the top does not move or shift just by holding it there. Or you can pick it up here and lift it this way. It's really nice fit, and that's how it should be. Took some doing, but it's done. That part anyway. Now we can sand all this tomorrow and get it all smooth and looking nice and everything. You put a coat of primer on it. So that's really nice. I'm really pleased with this. This is going to be a really solid ship, easy to get in and out of. And over here, Giselle is working a little hard away on getting this ready to do the overflows next, so we can do the mold. So this is fantastic. It's beautiful. It's everything I hoped for. So, and then tomorrow we're going to make molds of these. Yeah, because Jen will be here. Well, here we are on Tuesday, and we have Antonina today, who's joined us here at SNG, and is going to be learning prosthetics and creature building and all that kind of stuff. So Jen here is starting to do the ear molds for Paul Forest Spock ears, and she's starting with the wall that will make, which will encapsulate the area we need just for the silicone, which fits down in there like that, and then we'll have a stone key for it after that. But first we gotta get the silicone for it, so she's trying to go as close as she can to the edge so that we're not into the key zone area. That's pretty darn good. You seem to almost missed it, huh? So that's cool. It's the beginning to the molds on that. And over here, Giselle is going to start doing the overflow, the clay overflows for the Planet of the Apes makeup. And I'm having, with the exception of this base, not being square, rectangular. This is exactly the way they were done back in the 60s. So all this area here will all be clay up to here, just the way you see on these ears, to create the overflow, which helps the it cuts down the amount of surface area actually of the stone to stone and allows for a better blender edge, especially when working with foam rubber, and we're going to be working with foam rubber on this one. So, and over here I had an order for some Spock ears again in the shadow box, so I'm starting on those. Here's just the raw silicone, and I'm about to paint them. So we got some painted Spock ears in the oven. They're very wet right now because the silicone is not set up yet, but it will, and tomorrow we'll put those in the shadow box. And over here, Giselle is working away, doing the overflow on the apes, and Jen is doing our little encasement for our silicone, which we're almost ready to do. So here, Jen has just poured the silicone and into the molds, and we got a few little bubbles coming up, but luckily they're on the top and not down below. We're going to let this set up and then remove the clay wall, and then we're going to pour the stone. That is the next thing to do. So yeah, next thing we're going to do is get stone. Okay, so now we have this out of its jacket, and you can see what that looks like. We're about to, out of the enclosure, and we're getting it all cleaned up, and the next step is going to be to wrap this plastic around it and pour in some Ultracal 30 to make this part of the mold. So here we are, we got the walls made out of styrene cut around there. You can also use, there's some stuff, this rubber material you can get from for doing dental work that wraps around really good too, but I got lots of styrene thanks to Elliott Brown. So these are greased up, although I don't think the Ultracal will stick to the Alumilite, but just in case, they're greased up. Now all we have to do is mix up some Ultracal 30 and pour them in there. Are you all ready to do that?
Yeah.
What do you think? Giselle?
Woo!
She's always up for it. Giselle's working on the overflow still over there, but it's time to mix up some Ultracal. Okay.
Brush on first?
No, you just kind of pour it in there. Yeah. I think we're probably going to need more actually, but and then kind of push it around with that brush. It's really, it's just a supporting mold, and it needs to come up above the jacket, of course. So I think we're probably going to need some more, which is easily done. Keep going. Go ahead and slam that all in there. So there's a good 1/4 inch on the top. That should do it. Don't you think? Let's see how deep it is. Oh yeah, that's fine. I'll just bang the table so it goes level. That's it. That's done. Now we got to do this one. And it's probably not enough, but go ahead and pour it in, and we'll just use the same thing to mix some more, because it's not going to sit up for a while. So here we are. We got Brendan and Stacy's molds for phase 2 here. Remember, I did those a while back, and those are all done. And now Paul's are all done. We're going to open these next week and run some wonderful silicone in it. So what do you think of that?
I think it's great. What about what's in the oven?
Well, the oven are these very shiny looking Spock ears that have to be powdered down.
They're for Robin Burla.
Robin Burla, and they are on the, they will get powdered down, and they're going to be mounted in this lovely shadow box we have for her. So those will be all set up in the morning. So, and over here, Giselle's been doing a wonderful job and doing the overflows. Oh, you cleaned it up really nice. So you can see how the overflow works all the way around that. And we'll be making a mold on this, hopefully, tomorrow. You can't wait, can you?
No.
Me neither. See you tomorrow. So here we are. It's Wednesday, and Giselle's working on our overflow some more, getting a little extra smooth, and we're going to make a mold tomorrow on this. We are. And everyone came today and helped us clean out the studio for many reasons, because these walls here for putting art on all move and be folded away. We're having a little art show here tomorrow night, our artist salon, and but we needed to clear all this out because we're going to do green screen work and stuff in here for our show. The car is not here right now. It's at the home garage, and we can move it back in here anytime. But also, We're going to find it very difficult to hang this from the ceiling as I originally wanted to do, so I had the bright idea of moving it to this corner and storing stuff under it since there's so much area over there, rather than hang it. So now I can get the car in, we have more space, and of course there's the Enterprise. So we've been organizing the studio today, mostly, which is why there's not a lot to show you. So, there was something else, but I can't remember what it is. Oh yes. I already talked about that. These molds will be opened when Jen comes back. And of course these are Mr. Stacy's, and these are done. So we'll be getting back to all this and running silicone in these molds next week. Okay, here we are. It's Thursday, and Giselle has done a wonderful job on this. We are all ready to make a mold. It's all greased up. Some nice zip. ME301S. Yeah, you can't beat it. A little bit of Vaseline. It's got the overflows on. We're going to wrap some plastic around this sucker and tape it up and pour some Ultracal on it. Sound like it's a good idea to you?
Yep.
Yep, me too. Let's go. So Giselle's mixing the Ultracal 30 for the first coat. And now she's going to add more. She's finding out there was just a tiny bit of water on the bottom of that thing, and this stuff will keep going in that water for days. More. Isn't that something? I mean, you see how little water was in the bottom and it's still taking it? That's good. Okay, some more. There you go. See those little lumps there? They're not mixed in, so. Yeah. Okay, so here we go, putting the splash coat on. She's getting all the places that can capture air first. Oh, you know what we forgot?
What?
Nothing.
Oh.
I just love doing that.
Scared me.
And then to stick the brush in between and just kind of press down a few times, just kind of vibrate it. There you go. Now you want to go all around these edges here first and make sure you cream it in there really good so that it does not, we don't capture any air. You're going to need to put more on that. It's like really working in there good all the way around. The last thing we want is bubbles on those edges, the flange there, the overflow. Because if you get bubbles in there, then they chip. Because the edge is sharp. I could do some too. I want to make mud pies. You see how good that zip there is working. You see it, how it's like being repelled by it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's going to go on for a while until it starts to gel up a bit. But we're going to do that all over and get a nice splash, even splash coat on, and then do the fiber. So the splash coat is on. We're going to let this get a little firmer, and this last little bit will go on when it stops moving so much for us. And then once that sets up to a point where it's chalky and not moving, then we're going to put on the burlap over there layer. So here we go. Giselle is mixing up some more. This is for our second coat. See, this isn't moving anymore, see? It's all, hey, stop poking me. And, that's about thick enough, I guess. Does it feel real thick?
Yeah.
It looks thick. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this stuff here, which has been pre-soaked. It's burlap. This is pretty dense stuff. And Giselle's going to put it into the, it's all mixed now, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay. She's going to put it in there, and she's going to coat both sides of it, and then she's going to pick it up in her hands and then squeegee kind of it, yeah, like that. And so we know it's inside the weave. And then starting here, put it across the forehead like that. And we're just going to do one layer of this. Yeah, that's right. Cream it all down really nice. Down here too. So there's no air pockets between this layer and the first layer. Do the same thing. Bring it all the way down like that. You know how to do this. You've done this a bunch now. Okay.
I only have one plug on though.
You just kind of overlap them. Does that overlap too much? Not really. That's stiff. What the hell?
Yeah.
Okay. It'll be all right. Tell you one thing, nobody's going to break this mold.
Nope.
You can break their foot with it. We're just going to do this all the way down and all the way around here. And then whatever's left in there, we're going to put over the top and smooth. So here we are, waiting for the chalky phase, which will enable. It's still kind of moving. So we have to let it get to this stage where it's chalky and it doesn't move anymore, and you can really smooth it nice, and it comes out like that one over there. So we're waiting on that, and waiting and waiting. Come on, hurry up, go. So we're snapping off the wall here because it's set up pretty well, which I've been eager to do because I wanted to see how thick we got this. I tried to make this mold relatively thin. They dry out faster. You don't really need them to be super thick, and this looks like it's just the right weight. Yeah, the right weight, the right size, the right thickness. It's like kind of like perfect, Giselle. Yeah, good job. Okay, now we just got to market Planet of the Apes and get the heck out of Dodge. Well, here it is. It's Friday. At long last, Friday! Which I always love. But we're back in the studio, obviously, and let's see. We're going to be opening this mold here as soon as Giselle gets here. You can see how dark gray it's turned. It's really quite ready to open, very strong. And you really should let them sit till the next day. Got a new order of stuff from Berman's. And something else showed up in the mail today that I'm very excited about, and that is this beautiful rocket I got on sale for $22. Estes was having a sale. It's 56 inches long. It says it'll go to 1,700 feet. I bet with the engine I'm going to put in it, I can get it to go to about 2,000 feet, maybe even 3,000. We'll see. It's a very simple rocket, but it's the largest rocket I believe Estes makes in their Pro Series. It is 56 inches long, which is as tall as Mary, and pretty big around. And of course, I've been getting back involved in my radio-controlled hobbies again, and rockets. And since the FAA can't classify this as a drone, I don't have to register with the FAA a second time. Yes, I registered with the FAA. I had to. They forced me. They think that that is a drone, and that's what they're lumping us in with now. We're bad people flying planes and hurting people and stuff. No, actually, I have a license, insurance. I've been registered with the AMA, the Academy of Model Aeronautics, since 1985. Yeah, and for some reason they've decided that we're like drones, so we have to register now, just like any other pilot has to register with the FAA. So I don't want to hear the word toy airplane one more time. Get me? So now we're gonna fly toy rockets, which go Mach 1 and 3,000 feet or greater. So I'm really excited about this. They had a sale on this rocket for $22. How could I pass that up? I mean, now, mind you, the engines to fly them are $25 a flight, but I've got a reloader engine that someone sent me some years ago, and this is the engine I'm going to use on it, and it's an Aerotech, and it's a 2940-120, and it's a 29 millimeter rocket engine, and these are very, very powerful, and you can take these apart and put the reloader kits in, which bring it down to about $17 a flight, which is significant because after 2 or 3 flights it adds up. So I want to start building this bad boy as soon as I can. Little bits between the lines. It's going to be really cool. I really want to thank Mary, Antonina, Giselle, Emily, and John so much for helping us rearrange the shop and clean it up. Much easier it is to get the car in. These walls, of course, move. The slot car is in a really good spot now. We're taking up less room, and when I need to shoot green screen and other things in here, we can move these walls and take the car and put it in the home garage for shooting. So for now, and till our show does so well that we're able actually to afford to rent another one of these, and that's what we're hoping for with but something's there, is that the pilot will be very successful, we'll get picked up, and we'll be able to make a regular show out of it, and hopefully it'll go on for a couple of 2-3 years or more. We'll see. But for now, we got rid of a lot of stuff and created a lot of space, and I really, really thank everyone who helped me and Mary with that. So, and back into this mess, which is going to get cleaned up next, but our main task today is to get all this sanded down even. We're going to lose these rivets here and reposition them. This is so much easier. I wanted to see if I could get the lights in here now. I'm going to open this up. There we go. You see how easy that opens? I mean, it just opens so easily. And what I did, besides eject the bridge, which is not glued down yet, I'm going to show you, is I cut this open. And these fit just over the edge. I also cut out the insides of these so that I can actually get the lighting in, which it does fit in rather well now. And what this does too is allow a lot of water to flow in here, since there's no vents on the bottom, and fill up this very quickly. And also, we don't have to snap this top up around this. So that worked out really well. So what I want to do now is, of course, all this edging added to fill in for that gap, I want to blend and make really nice today. So that's what we're going to be doing with that. So let's unbag this. It's not in a box, so it's an unbagging. Discard the plastic bag, and look what we got. Well, you can see this does not have rubber band for the bungee on it, and we've got a nice big parachute. Let's open that up. So here we have our chute, our bungee, these two small tubes, which I won't know what they are until I go through the instructions, and this looks like some sort of retainer to hold in the engine, which is quite large. It's 29 millimeter. You can see this is not a plastic chute. This is a serious nylon chute. What a beautiful chute this is going to be for this model. So I'm very excited about that. I only have one other rocket that has a chute that big, and that's my giant or large scale Mercury capsule on a Redstone rocket. These are engine retainers, I believe. This is a coupler that couples the two sections of tubing together. We've got, this is the lower section, obviously, judging by, let me get this off. Yes, this is where the tail feathers go, and then this section here, boy, this is really elaborate for an Estes rocket. This is the nose cone, which I believe I have to open this up, and this goes into that. Let's look at the picture. Pictures always tell you everything, don't they? There's not a lot to this rocket. No, there's actually a smaller cone. There we go, up here. Now that's for the engine. Right there, that's for your engine. And I know that these two couple together. These two here couple together. Trying to keep in camera here. So I temporarily put the coupler in and connected those. I connected this with the vacuum form or blow molding piece there. And here's our nose cone, and that goes in here. And this gives you an idea of the size of this rocket, or gives me an idea. Here's our fins, which we'll temporarily attach. So here we are, we have attached the fins temporarily. These are beautiful fins. They're laser cut out of plywood, model ply. I connected the, just temporarily, the coupler, the blow molded center section for the second stage, which there really isn't a second stage. I suppose there could be one if you wanted to engineer that, and the nose cone, which is also blow molded. And this is a beautiful rocket. It's nice and big, and of course this is to mount the engine. I believe that this is the screw cap that holds the engine in, since there's no retainer wire for it. We're going to go put the engine and get the engine up here and take a look at that, but I wanted to give you an idea how big this ship really is. So here's the motor I'm going to use, and this screws apart, and this is the business end, and this is the ejection charge end to blast out the parachute for recovery. And this is the tube that this all fits in. Amazing that that thing gets that hot inside that cardboard tube and doesn't burn it, but it happens so quickly. So we are going to start with the first step, and of course to do that we're going to build this entirely, which doesn't take a lot of work. I believe the reason they're showing these fins in here is to make the spacing just right. But we're gonna start putting this together because I think that'll be really cool. I forgot to mention that this is called an Argent, and in assembling the Argent, I'm finding that you take the nose cone and push it in this little ring called C right here, and what this is a spacer that will allow you to put the bulkheads on to support the engine mount exactly level. In other words, the edge is exactly cut. You can put your wood glue on the back like I have, press this down firmly, and you know you're nice and true. I did have to sand out these parts a little bit on the inside to get them to fit over this tube. The reason that you poke the nose cone into this spacer is to get it a larger diameter. They show that there, so it'll actually fit over this tube, because all their clearances are really tight, which is good. You don't want them loose. Then you use the same retainer once this dries, and you put the fins in to gauge your distance and push on the next bulkhead using the same retainer. You push that on down to the fins like so, and then you glue in that bulkhead and let the retainer sit there till it dries, and you do the same thing again for the third bulkhead, and then you end up with a piece like this. After that, we're going to be putting this piece inside the tube, and we're going to glue that in again with wood glue. And once that's placed in position, we can glue the fins in, which is what they want you to do next. And the last thing we have to do, once we get them all blended in and everything, is to, then they want us to put the coupler on, put the other tube connected to that, and then the launch tubes. The last thing they want you to put on, for some reason, is the engine retainer. And basically, this goes on to the end of this, onto the end of that, and from what I can see here, yes, it does. It gets epoxied on, and this way you can screw this onto that and hold your engine inside. So these are the steps we have yet to do. I've got a fan on this which will help dry this out very quickly. You want this to be glued there. You don't want to remove that ring before, because if you do and you put the fins in there and start getting your space, you're going to get this off level. It'll be uneven going all the way around. You don't want that. So I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to stick in my fins and push this down with that same ring and glue this one in. So we have this mold here, and we have to open it. Are you ready to open it?
Yes.
What do you think, John?
Definitely.
Let's do it.
Well, as I've showed you in the past, you go around and you just kind of lightly do this, and you do that all the way around, just lightly. And if I get down here, you go a little harder than that. Just flat on to it. You'll see a little fracture start, and we're there, so you can stop now. And that little fracture is because when you tap the mold like that, shock goes through it from the impact, and it separates the Vaseline from this other half. Now we can't see where the overflows are, but I know that's one right there. So if we just go in here like that, it took a little coaxing, but we got release. And what I like to do is just kind of wiggle it like that. And it did lock a bit, but it was just because of the stuff that went over the outside. But you want to go really slow, as they were saying on the internet. And I've done this hundreds of times. That's pretty loose. And that is supposed to chip there because that's where it's overflowed over to the overflow. These air pockets you're seeing here are from the burlap, which I pushed up on the sides, and it's not going to be on the inside. So now what we can do is just lift that straight up evenly. Just straight up. Straight up. Yeah, just go real slow. And just pull it off all the way. You're clear. And there you go.
Wow.
Yeah. All we got to do is get this clay out. You can see that some of the stuff stays behind. This is a really good mold. We're going to use as a wooden tools to get this out, but it will just, when you do this, you need to get a big piece of it like this. Sometimes you can just, if you get enough of it, you can wiggle it and pop it right out. Grab that and just wiggle it until it pops out. So, there you go. Nice and clean. We got the nose in there a little bit still.
Yeah.
So here we are. We're all cleaned out. We were able to just yank the parts out really nice just by wiggling it. So we didn't, have to do a bunch of scraping. A little bit of cleanup has to be done right there with to remove that clay with some alcohol, but that's about it. We don't have any bubbles anywhere in this entire piece, which is really, we did it exactly the right way. It's very light, you can see. It's very thin. It's about that thick, which is all you really need. So it means it's going to bake very quickly. It's going to dry out very quickly. It's just a perfect mold. We have to trim away this with the tool, open this up here, and clean that a little bit, and then of course clean off this, but that should come off pretty easy too. So here we have some honest to God spirit gum from Berman Industries, my good friends at Berman Industries, and this is epoxy par film. It's a kind of a wax spray, I believe, and this is what we're going to use to release the baldies from our molds when we do the encapsulated silicone prosthetics, the ears, which we'll be doing next week, and also a whole bunch of hair here, which is really good hair. I believe it's human hair. We're going to be using this for our Planet of the Apes wig and our Planet of the Apes hair pieces. In fact, we probably will just get a wig, an expensive woman's wig, and trim it that matches to this to put over my head, and then use this hair to make hair pieces and save the rest for other projects. So, but thanks very much, John, for putting this together for me at Berman Industries. How are we doing here?
Good. It looks really good.
Cut out his brain, you bloody baboon. That's the chip, actually. And then John's over here cleaning my life mask off, and soon we'll put this in the oven. That really is amazing. I mean, usually John asked, he asked, do they not come out this perfect all the time? And it's like, well, they do, but sometimes we always have a little bubble, but there's one right there. See, right on the edge. We're not going to worry about that. But I mean, sometimes you get a big bubble here or there, or the nose. These don't go in all the way, and there's been a bubble there, or there's one on the lip, and you kind of expect to get those, and then you patch them and repair them, and there's ways to do it. So, but it's really nice when they just come out so perfect. It's got a nice ring to it, doesn't it? So, I think that's probably clean, isn't it now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so all we gotta do is, when John gets that cleaned up, there's a little bit there still. See, my finger can get it. Aren't I a pain? Okay, so I got this part done now, which is for the engine, and I put some glue inside as what they showed me to do, and then we're going to take this and slip this in here, and oh shoot, it's really, like I said, it's a tight fit, standing on end, but I got it to fit in. Now, the recess on it is, they say, is to do it this way, and that should be exactly at the right point, and then we got to check and make sure. And what I did is I sanded these. They just show you putting them in, and they really don't talk about sanding them. And you really should sand them, get a little bit more of a leading edge on them, and then they're going to fit in that slot there. I cannot find, out of 3 tripods, one that's got the thing that holds the camera in. But I want to make sure that it is spaced right by putting that in like so, and putting them all the way around and letting it dry. And then once it does dry, we'll glue these fins in. I'm trying not to. I can't try and do this one hand. It's aggravating me. I gotta ask Mary where the tripod is. So fins are in, and as you can see, it's a good size. Now we just wait for all the glue to dry. They look real square and nice. Got to put the engine holder in next. Yeah, what an undertaking. Actually, it was really easy to build. So here we got everything all cleaned up thanks to John here. John, thanks so much, and Giselle. And we're gonna put this together and make sure it's fitting right. And we're gonna put it in the oven and bake it out for a while. Ideally, bake it out for about 6 to 8 hours and just get all the water out of it, because then the foam comes out better. But being that this is so thin, this is already dry, probably only about 3-4 hours. So let's close it up very carefully. Just really, just get right over there. And it should just close right down. Like that. It's not rocking.
Nope.
You can see the overflows quite clearly, where the material will escape out. This is a perfect mold. Now we're going to put it in the oven. So now we've got Giselle being very careful of this hackle. Thank you, John at Berman Industries, for sending this old rusty hackle. I really needed it, and because mine disappeared in the move. And the hair. So what Giselle is doing a mix, and on the hair, so we can make some hair pieces to go on there. You see how I've marked them. As I was saying, Giselle's working on the hair pieces, and since we're not using lace and tying lace, we're doing a technique that we call Krylon hair pieces, and this is a mixture of yak hair and human hair mixed together. And just like the wig, we're going to lay this, and eventually we'll comb this through and make it really nice. And when she gets down here, she's going to really feather the edge and make it look very natural. And then, of course, then we're going to put Krylon on this. We're going to go from the back and lift this off using alcohol to remove that, and they will stay together much like a lace piece. We can reuse these pieces and attach them to my head, and then when they're on, the very fine edge will be overlaid with to make the edge look nice and uniform and everything with this hair here. It gets cut very straight, and it gets put down straight onto the head and glued in to the prosthetic clear adhesive. And then after that sets off, it gets hard, we comb it back. And just like on the Planet of the Apes, they actually use crepe hair to overlay and blend the lace hair pieces. So we're starting with the top one here, which you just got started on, and eventually it'll come all the way down to the Widow's Peak, and we'll have that first one and do a test. And John over here has been working on the hand cast for Barbara, who's doing an art piece where she's going to have her own hand coming out of the painting that she did. So it's 3D art. It's going to be holding a cell phone. It's a unique piece of artwork. She's an incredible artist. And we'll be able to show you that once this has all been done. But John's correcting the casting that we made. And eventually we will make a silicone mold on this and produce it out of very thin slosh poured rotocasted 2-part polyurethane resin, probably Alumilite. Thanks, John, you're doing a great job. He's never done this before. I mean, we had a lot of bubbles here. You can show him the back side. The back side is really nice and all the details there, but because the way the hand is cast and the way our hand was down the tube, we got a lot of bubbles and stuff on the back side, and he's filled all those in and made the fingertips back. There were a couple of big bubbles in the fingertips, and it's really coming out nice. You're doing a great job, John. Terrific. You bet. Okay, so here we have the rocket all assembled, and of course it has to be painted, and it's a good size rocket. I really like this rocket. This out here is the way we get the engine in and out. This actually unscrews, and this engine pulls out like that, and I can reload it with the new loader. Put that in like that. There's no little piece of wire on the side that locks the engine in. It actually gets locked in with this screwed in, and then we still have to put in the parachute and the bungee cord that connect these two halves together. But how it works is after it goes straight up to about 2,000 feet, then it's going to coast, and as it coasts, it's going to start curving like this back to Earth, and then the delayed charge goes pop like that, and the parachute comes out, and both this and that hang off the parachute, and it comes back to Earth in one piece. Yes, one piece. So that's if the parachute comes out. If it doesn't, well, we'll build another one. But that's how far I got. What has to be done now is, of course, everything has to be sanded down, given a heavy coat of primer, and I got to figure out a paint scheme for it. It'll probably be sort of a NASA European Space Agency paint scheme. So it's like a real rocket. So it's tempting to paint it shiny red and stuff, but I'm going to do it NASA style. So, cool. I love it. Okay, well, as you can see, I've got a really nice fit. We no longer have that gap anymore. I still have some red putty, a little bit of sanding to do, but you can see that the gap is clearly gone. This will all be sanded now that I can see where the problems are. This is the first coat of primer in the past. We got a really tight fit right here, which of course will also be fixed. And I've had to sand away a lot of the rivets on the bottom, but they're going to be very easily placed back. And I bet you, a lot of you are wondering how. Well, you see this? Take a really good look at it, because people are always asking me, what do you do to make welds and rivets and light gap? This is it. Now I'm going to show you what I do. So I'm going to show you how this tulip is done. Now obviously we're not going to use this because I have so much sanding to do here, but there's one, there's two, there's three, and I can do I can go right back over the old ones, and you got rivets, and that's how I do that. Now they have a little bit of that Hershey's Kisses to it, but you can fix that by doing that. You can see how quickly I can put back these rivets, and if they're a little off, it's not going to hurt anything, because you know, when they weld ships, they're not all exactly accurate, are they? So, but we're going to be able to do all the rivets this way. It's so their rivets are uneven, they can see clearly, but I just can't help myself. I want to do more. I can make my rivets more even than their rivets. This stuff is an acrylic. It will dry hard as a rock, and it's waterproof, and there you go, rivets back. Isn't that neat? And you know, this is so much faster than cutting the heads off of nails or anything else you might want to do. So now you know how I like to do rivets. I learned this from a modeler who was building a Type 7 U-boat on the subcommittee, and God, I'm drawing a blank on his name. It's been so many years, and I use this on my big 7-foot U-boat I have, and I thank him greatly for coming up with a solution. It wasn't me. I also fixed my big 66-inch long custom replicas, it's a mouthful, Nautilus that you've all seen. and it was run over by a UPS truck, and I had to put it all back together again, and I replaced all the rivets with this stuff, and it's been in the water and been on there for years, and they've held really well. What a full and crazy week it's been. I didn't show you a lot because there was so many other things going on that were just kind of behind the scenes, and busy work here. We had our big function here, our artist salon, and all kinds of other stuff like that. But next week will be another busy week. I want to thank all of our newer Patreon subscribers to our channel, to our SNG studio. Thank you for being part of SNG Studios. Thank you all for your support. And Mary and I both love you a whole bunch, and we can't wait to do more next week. See you then.